Welcome to Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Weldin. Today's story is called Sid's Snow Day, an original story written for you by Daniel Hinds. Thanks! Enjoy the episode! Sid's Snow Day. Once upon a time, not very long ago at all, actually, a kid named Sid woke up to the blat, blat of their alarm clock. It was a school day, and worse, they had a math test. But there was hope. Sid rolled out of bed and stumbled to the window. "Please, please, please," they said, pulling up the blinds so fast they got all crooked and crumpled. Yes, yes, yes! It had snowed. Outside, the world was covered in fine white frosting. Judging by Dad's car in the driveway, it was at least a foot deep. It didn't look like fluffy powder either. It looked like the heavy, wet blanket snow that clumped up and stuck to everything, especially itself. Sid pulled their Chromebook out of their backpack and sat down on the bed. Come on, no way they can make us go in with this much snow. They opened the school's announcement board and scrolled through. Come on, come on. Oh, yeah! Let's go! There it was. School was canceled. Not only had Sid avoided the math quiz, but they had the whole day to do whatever they wanted. No school! Sid screamed, running down the stairs and into the kitchen. Their mom and dad looked up with tired smiles. They were drinking cups of coffee and doing the crossword in the paper. "We saw it on the news," Dad said. "We were going to let you sleep." "Sleep is boring," Sid said, grabbing themselves a bagel to toast. "No school means I get to have fun." "You can have fun," Mom said. "But remember, your father and I have to work from home, so try to stay out of the way a little, all right?" "For sure," Sid said. "You bet." They wolfed down their breakfast and then launched right into finishing up a Lego project they had started the night before. Once they finished that, they made a new deck of Pokemon cards and built a castle out of blocks and had an imaginary battle between their wrestling toys and the figurines from their mom's model Christmas village. The wrestlers won by powerbombing a caroler through the skating pond, which Sid acted out so loud that their mother heard it in her office. "That better not be my Christmas village." "It's not," said Sid, quickly gathering their toys and moving to the living room. There, they decided to pretend that the stairs were a volcano and the floor was lava. Starting from the couch, they leapt to the coffee table, to the desk, and finally to the giant plant in the corner. It started to tip over, and Sid squawked, riding it to the ground where the dirt spilled out onto the floor. That was loud enough that Dad came up from his office in the basement. He took off his glasses and blinked in surprise when he saw the mess. "What happened up here? Did you knock the plant over?" "It was the dog," Sid said. "We don't have a dog," said Dad. "And that's another problem I have," said Sid. "I keep asking for a dog, a big one I can ride, and you keep saying, 'No,'" said Dad. "Exactly," said Sid. Dad sat down and rubbed his head. "All right, I'll help you clean up this mess, and then I have a meeting I need to be downstairs for. So why don't you go out back and play in the snow?" "Yes!" Sid cried. When they finished with the mess, Sid took off running for the back door. "Wait," said Dad. "You're in your pajamas." Sid looked down and saw that Dad was right. They ran upstairs and put on some normal clothes, and then ran back downstairs to put on the snow stuff that Dad had helpfully laid out for them. There was a cozy coat and puffy pants and matching mittens with a black beanie. Sid pulled it all on as quick as they could and then ran into the backyard. "Wahoo!" they shouted, jumping face first into the snow. It was deep and soft, and the air was actually warm now that the sun was up. Sid made a few snow angels and then laid back, thinking of what to do next. Heading off to the shed, they saw their old orange sled. "Perfect," Sid said. They threw open the back door and trudged into their mom's office. Hey, Mom, can we go sledding? You can sled in the backyard, Mom said without looking up. There's no hill in the backyard, said Sid. Well, I can't leave right now. You know I have to work, Mom said. And then she looked over at Sid, still wearing all their snow gear, leaving snowy boot prints and dripping slush. Sid, you got snow all over the house. It'll melt, Sid said, not getting why she was so upset. And then there'll be water everywhere. It'll evaporate, Sid said. Oh, clean it and get back outside, Mom said. Sid knew better than to argue. They dragged an old towel down the hall to clean up the snow, or at least most of it. Okay, only some of it, but still. Back outside, they made themselves a throne of snow and pretended to be the ruler of the yard. That was fun, but without any subjects to rule, there wasn't much of a point in being a ruler. I can fix this, Sid said. They got off the throne and started making miniature snowmen. Each one was made up of 3 stacked snowballs and only came up to about shin height. Sid quickly made a dozen, all facing the throne. It went pretty fast, and then when they sat back down, they felt like a proper monarch. I declare school closed forever, and taco night is every night, they shouted. The tiny snowmen watched on silently, and soon Sid got bored of ruling. Thankfully, that was fixed when Dad came out of the house in his pajamas and boots, the full kitchen trash bag in one hand. Sid realized their little snowmen were basically a stack of snowballs and quickly scooped them up into their arms. Intruder! They screamed, popping up from behind their throne. Fire and ruin! A snow day! A white day! Ere the sun rises! Sid started hucking the snowballs at their father. Their aim wasn't great, but they had plenty of ammo, so they finally got a good shot across the nose that sent Dad's glasses spinning. Sid, come on, he shouted. Can't I just take the trash out? This is war, Sid shouted. Arm yourself or get whitewashed like a coward. You asked for it, Dad shouted back. He took the trash can lid as a shield to block Sid's shots and quickly made a few snowballs of his own. His aim was great, and Sid soon found themselves on their back, spitting out snow. No fair, they said. You throw too fast. I don't start battles, Dad said, ruffling Sid's hair. I finish them. Let's do another one. Sorry, kiddo. I gotta get back to work, Dad said. We don't all have a snow day. Sid sat back in their throne. Well, what am I supposed to do? Tell you what, said Dad. Why don't you make a big snowman and then I'll come out after work and take a picture? We can try and get it in the newspaper. What do you think? Yeah, cried Sid, imagining the story in the paper already. Local kid builds the best snowman ever. President to issue Medal of Honor. Unlimited Doritos for the exceptional young artist. I'll do it. Dad ruffled Sid's hair again and then went back inside. Sid immediately got to work on the snowman. The snow was so sticky that all they had to do was roll a little snowball around the yard. It grabbed all the snow it rolled over, and soon it was a great white knobbly boulder. Sid did this again with the body and the head until the snowman was so tall they had to stand on an old box to reach the head and put on the face. It had dark rocks and Dad's reading glasses for eyes, with a remote control for the nose and some yarn for a smile. Originally, the grin had been a Twizzler, but Sid had needed a snack, so yarn it was. It's a beautiful start, Sid said, but now we need to dress this guy. They started to go inside and remembered at the last second not to get the house all snowy again. Better that they just call from here. Mom, I need some clothes for my snowman, they screamed. Do some creative problem solving, honey, and figure it out. And don't yell in the house, Mom yelled back. Sid went back outside and looked at the snowman. It was perfect, except it just needed some clothes. Well, it was plenty warm out, Sid decided, and they didn't really need a coat on. They shrugged out of the cozy coat and put it on the snowman. "Stylish, elegant, bold," Sid said, "but it needs more." They took off their puffy pants and tucked them into the snowman's waist so they hung out over its front. Then they added their matching mittens and black beanie. It was perfect, except it's good, but it's a little silly to wear a coat and snow pants without clothes underneath. Seeing a solution, Sid took off their own shirt and pants, leaving them in their underwear and boots. The pants they tucked into the front under the snow pants. The shirt took some work to get over the snowman's head, but once the whole outfit was on, it was perfect. Except... "Ready for the picture?" Dad asked, coming outside. "First snow of the year. I bet we can make the paper if we..." "What are you doing?" Sid was halfway through taking their underwear off, leaving just their boots. "Finishing the snowman," Sid said. "Doesn't it look great?" "Sid, your clothes!" Dad sputtered. "What's all this yelling?" Mom said, leaning out the door. "Sid, get back inside right now!" "You told me to stay outside," Sid called back. "Geez, make up your mind." "Get in now!" Mom said, and Dad hurried them along. "Okay, just let me finish my snowman." Sid started to pull off their underwear, and Dad grabbed them up in his arms. "No, you don't. We don't want to make the paper that bad." Dad carried Sid inside, ignoring their protests, and popped them right into a warm bath. They cleaned up and then had dinner and were finally allowed back in the living room to watch TV. Sid cuddled up next to their parents on the couch. "Today was awesome. I hope there's a snow day tomorrow, too." "Ugh, another snow day," groaned Dad. "If there is, we're moving to Arizona." Mom laughed and whacked him playfully, and then they all settled in to watch a movie. Sid had the sniffles for a week, but everyone agreed it was the best-dressed snowman on the whole street, even without the underwear. The end. Thanks for listening.